Have you ever seen a face of someone who's already dead? Can you imagine someone who died years ago showing up at your door at 3 a.m, whispering in a voice you can't forget, "Baban, open the door." Welcome to Doyta, where real horror stories meet the unseen. Today's story isn't just creepy, it's terrifyingly real. It's about a boy who didn't believe in ghosts, spirits, or even God until something happened that completely shook his reality. If you're into horror, suspense, and true supernatural experiences, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Doyta, and ring the bell icon, because the kind of fear we bring, you won't find anywhere else. I grew up surrounded by horror. From a young age, I loved reading ghost stories, watching horror films, and listening to spooky tales late into the night. But deep inside, I never truly believed in the supernatural. It was all fiction to me, thrilling, exciting, but not real. That belief changed forever on one terrifying night. In 2015, my family moved from the calm hills of Uttarakhand to the bustling chaos of Delhi. We settled into a new flat, and for the first few years, everything was perfectly normal. Life was stable, peaceful. But things began to shift in 2019. By then, I had become an atheist, mostly influenced by my friend circle. Many of them were left-leaning, scientifically minded, and strongly against the idea of religion or spirituality. I admired their thinking and slowly began to adopt their beliefs. God, ghosts, souls, all of it seemed like outdated superstition. But then came the night of June 19, 2019. It was late. I had been studying for hours. Exams were approaching in early July, and I wanted to do well. I checked my phone. The time read 3:20 a.m. Exhausted, I decided to sleep. Like always, I plugged in my phone to charge and made my way to the kitchen for a glass of water before bed. That's when the nightmare began. As I drank the last sip of water and turned to walk back toward my bedroom, I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. 3 distinct knocks at our main door. I froze. It was 3:20 in the morning. Who could possibly be knocking at our door at this hour? I stood still, barely breathing, trying to make sense of what I'd just heard. Then a voice followed. A voice that shook me to my core. "Baban, open the door." I went cold. My throat dried up. I tried to shout for my parents. They were just down the hallway, but no sound escaped my mouth. I felt paralyzed, as if something invisible had wrapped its hand around my neck, silencing me. The voice called again. "Baban, open the door." It was a deep, slow, and strangely familiar voice. Baban, that was my childhood nickname. But hardly anyone used it anymore. Only one person ever called me that with affection. My uncle, who had passed away from a heart attack in 2013. My blood ran cold. I didn't want to believe it, but my instincts were screaming that it was his voice. I stood frozen in place for at least 15 minutes, staring at the main door, unable to move. My mind had stopped working, gripped by fear I had never known. Finally, gathering every ounce of courage, I switched on the lights and slowly approached the door. I leaned toward the peephole, and what I saw nearly made my heart stop. It was him, my uncle, standing outside the door. Same height, same face, same posture. But there was something off. His eyes weren't human. They were red, empty, lifeless, like two deep wells of darkness. His skin was pale, almost bluish, and his fingernails had grown unnaturally long, curling slightly at the ends. He wasn't looking around. He was staring directly at the door, as if he knew I was watching. I stumbled back, ran into my bedroom, slammed the door shut, and locked it. That night I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every sound made me jump. Every shadow felt like it moved. Once I even thought I heard my name whispered near the window. A soft, cold Baban. But I didn't dare look. The next morning, I told my parents everything. My mother turned pale and immediately decided to take me to a nearby temple. That evening, we went to a local priest and I recounted the entire incident. He listened carefully, then looked directly into my eyes and said, "There's a soul in your home, but it's not evil. It was someone close to you, someone who left without saying something." He told us to perform a Satyanarayan puja to cleanse the house and bring peace to the spirit. The puja was held the very next day, and what happened during that ceremony was eerie. The flames of the lamp flickered wildly during certain mantras. The priest's bell began to ring without anyone touching it. He paused, closed his eyes, and softly said, "He's here. He heard you. He's leaving now." After that day, everything went back to normal. No more voices, no more knocking, no more shadows. But even today, even after all this time, sometimes when I'm alone, in the silence of the night, I still hear it faintly. "Baban, open the door." What I learned. I used to be a complete atheist. I laughed at people who believed in ghosts or gods. But after what I saw with my own eyes, what I felt that night, I can't deny it anymore. Souls exist. They're not just stories, they're real. And sometimes they come back, not to haunt you, but to be heard. Sometimes we think we understand the world. We think ghosts are just fiction, and the supernatural is a lie. But when life shows you something your logic can't explain, you realize you knew nothing at all. Souls exist. They're not always evil. Sometimes they just want to say something. Or maybe they just want you to open the door. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and comment below if something like this has ever happened to you. And most importantly, subscribe to Doyta for more chilling stories that will haunt you long after the video ends. And next time, if someone knocks at your door at 3 a.m. and says, "Baban, open the door," think twice before you do.